Hello to all those listening. The movie begins with a note addressed to the Officers Association. The note serves as a warning to the officers not to engage with the troublesome prisoners at all, and not even to make eye contact with them for more than 10 seconds to prevent harm. These particular prisoners, my friends, are the worst criminals who engage in cannibalism, brought together by the government in one place to ensure they do not harm regular people. Later, we see a girl named Arlen who gets a tattoo of the name of these troublesome prisoners because she is imprisoned among them. Then, two officers take her away. The place is a completely desolate desert. They leave her there as it is her prison, as well as the prison for the troublesome prisoners. Arlen explores the place, but her time is short. She encounters a car with a man and a woman inside, who are also among the prisoners. This alarms Arlen, and she tries to escape, but her attempt fails, and they capture her. The next day, Arlen wakes up to find herself tied up somewhere. She is approached by one of those who kidnapped her the previous day, and they inject her with a sedative. Then, in a very bloody scene, her hands and legs are mutilated. After that, we see this woman going to her group, who live with her here, led by a certain someone whose name is not mentioned. They exchange the flesh that was cut off yesterday with some people from Miami's group, who are cannibals. Later, the woman returns to Arlen, finding her completely soiled in her own waste, as she cannot use the bathroom due to her severed limbs. The woman, frustrated, cleans her. Suddenly, she takes an iron bar and beats the woman to death. As she does so, we see another prisoner like her, also with a missing leg, witnessing her escape, but he does nothing. Arlen then takes a part of the iron bar and uses it as a makeshift skateboard to escape. She encounters a man from another group living in the area who takes her in and brings her to his people, who, unlike those Miami people, are good-hearted. They treat Arlen's injuries and live with her for the next 5 months. Arlen's life with them is good, as she even gets a prosthetic leg. We leave her there and move on to Miami, and what we find living with his daughter, a person he loves dearly. He is also currently drawing her, and after he finishes drawing, he goes out and kidnaps a girl, who he mercilessly kills and consumes with his daughter and his wife Marie, as if they are not eating a human being. The next day, Mario begins to move around to look for a plate from somewhere. It is known that all scrap. However, the problem arises when Marie, while searching here and there, stumbles and injures herself. Mario rushes to treat her, and in the meantime, Arlen reaches them, who was initially out looking for something. But as soon as Arlen sees Marie, she recognizes her as being from the Miami group, the ones who caused her to lose her limbs. Unable to control herself, Arlen pulls out her weapon, and without hesitation, kills Marie in front of her daughter, who is understandably distraught and saddened by her mother's death. Arlen pays no attention and takes some supplies before leaving. The child follows her. Arlen finds some rabbits that are being raised by a group. She is intrigued and takes one of the rabbits from them. Afterward, she goes to sit with Arlen and tries to talk to her. She asks her about Mary and other things, but Arlen seems afraid and doesn't respond, continuing to play with the rabbit. They leave, and the scene shifts to Miami, where the husband finds his wife and daughter delayed. He takes a motorcycle and goes to look for them, reaching the scrapyard, where he finds his wife's body. He is upset but slightly relieved as he doesn't find his daughter there. The old man I mentioned earlier sees Arlen and goes to Miami to show him a drawing of her and asks if he has seen her. The old man is a bit absent-minded, but pleased that Miami can draw. He requests a drawing and then reveals the location to him. Miami agrees, reluctantly, and continues drawing. Gratefully, Miami takes the sketchbook with the information and starts searching for his daughter on the same day. In the evening, Arlen and Dream, a musician living with them, attend a party. After Dream finishes his performance, he requests everyone to welcome Hib Dream Dream, another resident known and respected by all. However, for some reason Dream is revered by everyone here, and they respect him deeply. He takes the stage and announces that the government has gathered them here to end their misery. He ends his speech, and the assistants begins distributing their ecstasy pills as gifts, including to Erlen. Unfortunately, due to this, she loses her senses and roams around the party with her rabbit. In the midst of this, the rabbit slips from her hand and runs away. She chases it and meets Dream, who hands her the rabbit. He asks her to come with him, and she does so happily, as she is just a child. Meanwhile, Erlen, under the influence of drugs, is wandering aimlessly in the desert, unaware of her whereabouts. By chance, she eventually arrives at the same place in Miami where her daughter is, as I mentioned earlier. Exhausted, she faints as soon as she arrives. The next day, when she wakes up, she finds herself in the middle of the desert with a prosthetic leg. Miami appears with a man and tells her directly that he knows she is looking for her daughter, but he cannot bring her because it will endanger him and everyone else there due to the ongoing conflict. So, he proposes to take her with him to get her daughter. They agree and begin their journey. However, on the way, they encounter a man on a motorcycle who stops and gives them a fuel can, asking for help. In return, he takes Erlen's prosthetic leg, and Miami agrees, giving him all of Erlen. She is shocked and disbelieving. Yes. But Miami surprises her, taking out a knife and striking the man in the leg. The man screams in pain, and Miami continues to assault him with a machete. And they survive. After that, he starts cutting pieces of the man's flesh for sustenance, and calmly proceeds with Erlen. After some time, they stop in a location for Erlen to relieve herself. However, before she can do anything, a severe sandstorm suddenly approaches, leaving Erlen frightened and unsure how to protect herself. Quickly, Miami acts and brings a blanket, laying it over Erlen to shield her from the blowing sand. In this moment, Erlen and Miami exchange glances that indicate an emerging attraction, although that's a different matter for another time. As the storm subsides, they head to a cave, planning to stay until morning and continue their journey. While in the cave, Erlen starts a conversation with Miami, asking him why he's here and living among the bad prisoners. Miami explains that he is originally from Cuba and entered the United States illegally when he was 16. He settled in Miami and worked there, which is why he's in Miami. She asks about his prison number and the tattoos people receive, but Miami refuses to tell her. She decides to investigate by herself, and, while he's asleep, she steals his knife. She realizes that she hates him and his group and decides she will kill him. Before she can execute her plan, another man arrives and shoots Miami, causing him to flee. This man offers Erlen to come with him to take her to safety, but she hesitates and wants to stay with Miami to help him, because it's difficult for her. In the end, she decides to go with the man, and she returns the next day. We find that the old man, who collects scrap metal by chance, encounters Miami and takes him, and he is fine, thanks to Erlen. The old man takes him back to his motorcycle and continues his search for his daughter. Meanwhile, we see that Erlen is distressed by what she did the day before and feels guilty for not helping Miami. It repeats that she tries to assist him and goes to the place where he was, but doesn't find him. She only finds Miami's sketchbook, which he often used to draw. She takes the sketchbook and prints a drawing from it. She starts asking everyone about him, but unfortunately, no one knows his whereabouts. Erlen then sits down, reflects, and contemplates what to do. She realizes she's in the same place where she met a lot of Dream's group, women living with their husbands who are well off and care for her. She's happy and decides to join them. And Dream insists that they introduce her immediately when she enters the palace. Erlen finds all the women living with Dream and his group are pregnant. She learns that Dream marries them and sees that he has various drugs in bizarre shapes and colors, which he distributes to the bad prisoners as a form of trade or entertainment. She also learns that Dream is attempting to build a drug empire here. He invites Erlen to join him. She joins the operation and continues living in the same isolation. All the girls living here are under the condition that Dream must marry them. So Erlen agrees softly. This pleases Dream greatly, and he immediately calls one of the girls here to take Erlen to her room. Here, Erlen contemplates to herself and grasps that the deranged Dream has manipulated the girl. Surely, to marry her just like he did with the others? She decides to rescue her and takes her industrial man's hand, retrieving a pistol she had concealed in it. Afterward, she wears the man's coat and asks each of the girls to come to her, saying she needs their help. The girl actually comes to her. Indeed. Immediately, without preamble, Erlen confronts her and Dream and the rest of his women, knowing she will kill her if she doesn't let the girl go with her. Dream is distressed because he trusted her and feels betrayed. However, Erlen doesn't care and knows that if she doesn't take her, the girl will be killed. Even if he kills her afterward, Dream has no power over her at that moment, so he reluctantly lets her go, bidding her a farewell and instructing her never to forget. Then she leaves with the girl, firmly holding her. Under the threat of the gun, she makes the girl sit in the car and drives her as far as possible away from Dream and his soldiers, where no one can catch her. Afterward, she frees the... Also, because Erlen saved his daughter, he decides not to harm her and takes her with him, so his daughter can leave. But here, Erlen stops and tells him that he's not busy today. Let's go out together. Of course, Miami is surprised, just like me exactly, and tells her, "You're crazy, right? You left me to die. Now you want us to go out together. Seek refuge in God and return, because you've been living with me here in the desert, which is not safe at all." At that point, Erlen realizes she can't return to the hideout because she's in conflict with Dream, the most important person to her, for the sake of his daughter. And here, Miami is affected and decides they will live together and clearly shows that they are now attracted to each other. Anyway, while they are talking, she gets hungry, but Miami can't find any food for her to eat. So he takes his rabbit, slaughters it, and the three of them sit down to eat, with her literally eating and crying because she loved that rabbit very much. And here, my friend, our movie ends after we have made sure that Erlen will live with Miami, and she is genuinely happy despite the harsh desert they live in. Finally, I hope you enjoyed the movie, my friend, and Islam.